Not even a breath of wind as we welcome you to Lambeau Field. Hello, friends. Jim Nantz along with Phil Simms for Cleveland and Green Bay. Both teams coming in 0-1. You hate to say it, week 2, Phil, but this is a critical game. Last year, no team starting the season 0-2 made the playoffs.
Jim, you can say it is a critical game. Both coaches agree. They know their teams are not strong enough or dominant enough to overcome an 0-2 start.
All right, Phil. So the Browns last week opening up with a loss to Cincinnati, while the Packers fell to the Lions in Detroit. And Green Bay has won the toss and will receive. And today's broadcast is brought to you in high definition by Sony. Najee Davenport and Ahmad Carroll are back to receive the kick of Phil Dawson for the Packers home opener. And great boot by Dawson results in a touchback. That'll bring out Brett Favre and the Packers offense to the 20. Brett Favre just 65 yards away from 50,000 on his career. Only Dan Marino and John Elway have ever attained that milestone mark of 50,000. Clifton on that line with Flanagan snapping it back to Favre. And of course the big news flash for the Packers since last week is the loss in that game last Sunday of Javon Walker. Ferguson will take his position in the lineup. They'll actually come out with double tight end set. Franks and Martin will run it straight ahead, and Ahman Green fumbles the football.
Second down. He's got the ball.
Wow, McCutcheon says we have it, but the signal second down for Green Bay. Wow, Flanagan falls on it.
It never looked like Ahman Green even got the football. Didn't look like he got a clean handle on it. The exchange looks pretty good. Runs into his own man, into Will Whitaker, and that's what knocks the football out.
4-yard gain, second down and 6. Back to Green again, and he darts ahead past the 34, the first down. Cleveland defense gave up a 100-yard rushing performance last week with Rudy Johnson. Here's Orpheus Roy on that defensive front. A 3-4 defensive scheme for the Browns. Kennard Lang in the linebacking core. Watch Sean Thompson as well. And in the secondary, Gary Baxter gets his first start as a member of the Browns. He's been out of action since the second week of the preseason with a concussion. First down for Favre and the Packers. Swinging it over with a short completion to William Henderson. All right, Phil, let's talk about the Sim Spotlight where the Packers have the ball.
Well, let's talk about a couple simple things, Jim. For the Green Bay offense, can the offensive line give Ahman Green and Brett Favre enough chances to make the plays to win the game for them? And the Cleveland defense, the 34, 3-down linemen, 4 linebackers, it's in transition. Can they get better? Romeo Crennel says he will change things around every now and then to help his defense out today.
You see Mike Sherman, 3 straight division titles he's coached this team to, and 4 straight years in the playoffs. Running it with Davenport, and he is walloped near the first down. While Romeo Crennel on the other sideline for Cleveland. And his team returning only 8 starters from a 4-win squad of a year ago. 27 players, that's all that returned from the 2004 Cleveland squad.
You win 4 games, got to make a lot of changes. That's why he's the head coach. And talking to him last night, boy, you were trying to get him into all these, bite your this, all that. He goes, we just got to win a game. Got to win a game. Just win. It's always good when you win. The fans will like me if we win. And that's Romeo Crennel. The bottom line is, that's right. Doesn't matter what kind of guy you are, anything. You've got to win games in this league.
Davenport got the first down, now gets the carry again, and this time a gain of 2 yards. Andre Davis with the hit.
Yeah, you know, you talk about this Green Bay Packers. Mike Sherman, we met with him on Friday, and it was funny. He goes, wow, the guards have never gotten so much publicity ever in America in the National Football League, and they lost 2 All-Pro guards here in Green Bay. So anytime there's a problem with the offense, everybody focuses on that position. He said last week, my 2 guards, they didn't play that bad in Detroit. That's not the reason why they lost the game.
Ahman Green. But that was an offensive performance that during the Favre era might be the worst of all. It's the first time since, well, in 78 games that the Green Bay offense did not score a touchdown, and 207 games since they had managed only 3 points in a game.
Well, you look at that, yes, no TDs. The yards, 216 yards, not very good. The chances were there. Brett Favre had some chances in the game to make big plays. He did not do it. For them to win, he has to play very well this year.
It's 3rd down and 5 for Green Bay. On this opening series, straight back, Favre with time, across the middle, and he has his target, Donald Driver, for the 1st down. Ray Mickens on the coverage. Excellent coverage, or excellent protection, I should say, for Favre.
Well, that's what it is. Brett Favre drops back. Look how long he gets to look down the field. And there was a good example. I want to show the fans today this. Brett Favre throws, he's an excellent thrower off balance. Ray Mickens, a specialist, covering the inside receiver on 3rd down, can't handle Donald Driver that time.
So Packers moving, and the pass in the area of Chapman, and then miscommunication.
Well, there you go. That's Antonio Chapman. He's new to it. That's one of those plays where if the defender is far off of you, it just happens. It's not an audible. It's not called. The quarterback just stands up and throws it to the wide receiver, but Chapman not ready for it.
A lot of scrutiny on the likes of Chapman today, as well as Robert Ferguson, again, as they try to fill the huge void with Walker out of the lineup. 2nd down and 10. Flags are down, and Favre throws it in the area of Donald Driver.
Tried to throw it behind him, and he knew there was offsides on Cleveland, so he took a chance and threw it down the field.
Looked like McKinley of Cleveland got jumpy.
You know, I say this all the time, Jim, in telecast. Quarterbacks do not use their snap count enough.
There are fouls on both teams. Illegal formation, offense, offside, number, right tackle, defense. The penalties will offset. 2nd down.
So 2nd and 10 coming up for Green Bay from the 46. Welcome to Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Green Bay with the opening drive, and the Packers have moved the chains a couple of times down to the Cleveland 42-yard line with Ahman Green, Jim Nantz along with Phil Simms, and Bonnie Bernstein here for the Packers home opener as the Carolina Panthers defeat New England today. So the 10th play of this drive coming up for Green Bay. They've had no play longer than 8 yards, but effectively driving to begin the game. And with a 4-receiver formation on 3rd and 5. Favre. Open man again is Driver. Driver cuts the corner and high steps it home for the touchdown. Donald Driver races to the end zone for the touchdown as the Packers drive it 80 yards to open the game. We welcome those of you who saw Tennessee topple Baltimore today. You join us just after the touchdown pass on 3rd down. Favre finding Driver open in the right flats, and he turned the corner, Phil, and turned on the afterburners.
That's what's called playmaker, Jim. Take a simple pass over the middle and turn it into 7 points.
Longwell with the extra point. And what a piece of running here by Donald Driver. Racing past Mickens and Crocker. And the Packers are in. Green Bay never found the end zone last week in Detroit.
No, they didn't. Last week, Jim, they were sharp early, then they lost it. Today, they come out sharp and they capitalize with the touchdown.
Took away to Antonio Perkins. Finally fields it near the 10. And then swallowed up near the 30. Driver caught a little crossing pass for a 1st down on a 3rd down play earlier. Then another 3rd down play, went all the way to the end zone.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 40. Volkswagen, on the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. And by Rocky Mountain Refreshing Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL and Super Bowl 40.
We're back in Green Bay. Trent Dilfer and the Browns with their first snap of the game. And quickly down 7. Out running with Reuben Drone straight ahead. He falls for about 5, maybe 6. Braylon Edwards in the lineup with the 3 receivers set to start the game. What did you see, Phil?
Donald Driver, Ray Mickens. Just watch Donald Driver as he goes off the line of scrimmage. He goes behind Bubba Franks. Ray Mickens a little slow in reacting. Now he's behind, and Donald Driver turns the speed on. And like he said to us yesterday, Jim, Javon Walker's out. He goes, there's no pressure on me. The pressure's on everybody else. He's handling it pretty well.
Second down and 5. We'll go back to Drones with a blocker in front. Smith helps clear the way for the first down. And Edwards also helping lead the way for a first down. There is Trent Dilfer, the 12-year veteran who last week became the Browns' 4th different opening day starter in 4 years. This line last week, including Andruzzi, a former Packer, and of course with the Patriots as well, did not allow a sack. And Reuben Drones, the 1,200-yard rusher for Denver a year ago, with the first 2 carries of the game, picking up a first down.
You mean the beastie one?
As he described himself.
Yeah.
And there he is again. The ball free. They've ruled him down.
It's white ball. It's white ball.
And they've already whistled it down. Now, for those of you who joined us late, and I know the New England, Carolina, and the Baltimore, Tennessee audiences joined us late. There was a fumble on the first play of the game for the Packers. Cleveland, for a moment, thought they had recovered the Ahman Green fumble, only to see Flanagan, the center, fall on it in the end, as the Packers almost had a disastrous start. It's second down and 7 for Cleveland. Dilfer's first pass of the game over to Hayden for the first down. Cuts back down to the 35. For Steve Hayden, Northcutt and Bryant, pair of receivers, helped to tie it in with some blocks down the field.
Successful plays is because you call the plays at the right time. The Green Bay Packers blitz. Trent Dilfer fakes the running play, and that is why Steve Hayden is wide open. The Packers blitz it from the other side. The play action to the right. Nobody picks up the tight end in a big game for Cleveland Browns offense.
22 yards. First down from the Packers 35. It's left, goes left with Bryant. Trying to make the move on Al Harris. And he's driven back by a couple of Packers at the 26. We'll give him 9 yards. And let's check out your spotlight when Cleveland has possession.
Well, here's what Cleveland wants to do on offense. They want to run it well enough so the Green Bay Packers will crowd the line of scrimmage so they can throw over the top. And Green Bay's defense, Al Harris, Mike Sherman, they tell you it's all about their corners. If they play well, they separate them from the defense, and it allows everybody else to concentrate on stopping the run. So a lot of pressure put on the corners when you play for Jim Bates and this Green Bay defense.
Second down and 1. And that's a first down with Reuben Drones plowing ahead.
Well, you know, you go back, Jim, just what you said, Reuben Drones. You asked him last night, how would you describe your style of running? Is that what you asked him? And he goes,
Beastie-like.
Beastie-like. And he goes, I'm tough. I like to run tough. I like to earn my yards. And I hit the defenders.
Yep.
I attack them. I don't wait for them to attack me. When I do the attacking, I don't get hurt that way. So
he loves initiating the contact. They fake the Drones. Dilfer throws, and he has Northcutt. Flag down the field as Northcutt moves it inside the 10.
Excellent throw by Trent Dilfer.
Got away from Joey Thomas. The Packers. Pete Morelli with the call.
Number 24. Defense. Penalties decline. First down.
First and goal to go, and a very impressive response here by the Cleveland Browns after the Packers score.
Well, it is. Nice throw. Trent Dilfer just slings his body out of the way and puts it perfectly against, Jim, you said Thomas. He gets the penalty. The reason why he is starting today, Ahmad Carroll, last year's #1 draft pick, 4 penalties last week, on the bench.
Jones to the 5. It'll be second and goal, and another flag.
Illegal formation, number 86 on the line. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
First and goal to go from the 14 coming up.
Only 2 really impressive opening drives for both teams. The Cleveland Browns, Mike Sherman, when we talked to him on Friday, he says, hey, this Cleveland offense, he thinks the strength of their football team is the offensive line, and they do a lot. He says they challenge you. They'll throw it on 3rd and an inch. They come up with different types of plays, and it's a very diverse offense. Hard to get a feel for what they're going to do.
They send Edwards in motion on first and goal. Pressure, and the screen pass set up beautifully. Drones racing down to the 2-yard line. And another flag. Packers are pointing at Cozy Coleman.
Number 63, offense, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
And it's on Andruzzi. It's going to be one of those first and goal to go situation from beyond the 20.
Joe Andruzzi from the New England Patriots. Number 63, here he comes. He's in good position. Oh, he gets the arms outside around the back. Didn't have to do that. He was going to chase the defender if he just pushed him or hit him. He was out of the play. And I see screen plays or screen passes from Cleveland. Maurice Carthon coached a long time with Charlie Weiss, who's now at Notre Dame. They love the screen passes.
First and goal at the 22. Billy Miller in as an extra tight end. Dilfer goes with the second option and hits Northcutt. Got about halfway home with that one. Second and goal at the 11.
Well, what did Trent Dilfer say? You know, you talked to him, and we're last night, and this Green Bay team, they play a lot of man coverage. They like to get up on you and chase the receivers. And if you're not good enough at the wide receiver position, it's a long, tough day. And he goes, I have complete faith. Our guys will get away from them. This is a good receiving core the Cleveland Browns have. It's 3 or 4 deep.
That's Miller in motion. They fake the drones, toss it toward the end zone, and a flag thrown against Green Bay, it appears. Nick Barnett trying to defend Billy Miller. They've already signaled on Green Bay.
Face guarding, never turned around.
Pass interference, number 56, defense. Penalty in the end zone will be ball will be put on the 1-yard line. Automatic first down.
Nick Barnett on the tight end. The football is in the air. He face guards, never turns around, raises his arms up, puts it right in the receiver's face. That's an easy call. You can't even argue and plead your case when you do that.
What a break for the Browns. They had first and goal at the 22. Able to work their way back to first and goal at the 1. Fake the drones. Open man. It's Hyden. Touchdown, Cleveland.
Oh, man, you're the quarterback. First and goal from the 1. They send the play in. You know what you think, Jim? Great touchdown pass.
Yes,
because
right.
These are givens. First and goal on the 1. The defense has to sell out. They have to honor the run, and when they do, Steve Hyden uncovered in the end zone.
So Dilfer matches Favre with a touchdown pass on the first possession of the game on each side. Beautiful drives. Dilfer with a lot of experience playing at Lambeau Field, and he was able to laugh about it last night, knowing it wasn't a whole lot of pleasant experiences up here. Longtime NFC Central rival of the Packers down in Tampa when they come in here.
I'd say 0 for 10 is not a pleasant experience.
Yeah, he says, they don't know it. He says, no one wrote about it, no one talked about it, no one knows. Please don't tell them. 7-7. a week ago, both teams struggled to put points on the board, but first series on each side, down the field for a touchdown. Dawson kicking it away, down to the 3-yard line. It's Carroll of the Packers. He's tackled at the 21. Favre, after that touchdown pass to Driver, now only 10 yards from 50,000 yards in his career.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Wrangler, makers of Wrangler Jeans Company, a new generation of Wrangler. And by Verizon Wireless. Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you.
Trent Dilfer on that scoring drive. A perfect 6 of 6 and the touchdown toss. Two quarterbacks now combined 9 out of 10 with a couple of touchdown passes. On the mark in the early going. Ahman Green. And that's a lot of work to gain a couple. Dalen McCutcheon cutting off the corner. It's only week 2, but in his weekly NFL.com column, my partner over here, Mr. Sims, says it's never too early for a quarterback controversy, as is happening in Washington, Baltimore, and other cities already. He authored this going into the weekend. You can read what else he has to say on NFL.com or NFL on AOL.
I said it with quite a bit of sarcasm. In Washington, they were waiting to get Mark Brunell in there.
Ball tipped in the air, and there's the pick. The Browns come up with it. It's McCutcheon. And down at the 22-yard line.
You hear it all the time when you play the Green Bay Packers. You're scared because Brett Favre will take chances with the football. But the other side of it is, as Brian Russell told us last night, he is not afraid to stick it in some tight spots either. So it gives you a chance to make plays, and that's what happens here. Andre Davis, nice job. Sees the quarterback, reaches his left hand out, and knocks it up in the air.
Trying to find Bubba Franks. And the Browns are right back on the field with their offensive unit at the 22. Little sweep, flag is down. Drones not able to gain too much. They gave him 4 yards. But we'll check the flag.
Illegal motion, number 84, offense. Was not set. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, you're talking about all that contact that Reuben Drones likes to initiate. You know, we were talking to him about how, well, that's the way Walter Payton used to kind of attack the field. And he says, well, that's why I wear number 34.
That's and you go, oh, that's good.
Kind of stumbled across that little nugget.
You did, and it says a lot. Reuben Drones from Denver. They're kind of running the same type of running plays here. One of the reasons why they brought him in. But a happy guy, laughs, just good for your team. He's got the talent and the personality to blend in.
Coming over to him, Dilfer hits him in the flat, back down to the 20-yard line. Second and about 8 coming up is Joey Thomas. Now slow to get up, but he made the hit.
I'll go back to the play before. Billy Miller, the tight end, didn't get set. Trent Dilfer tried to go on a quick count, and the offense was not ready.
And after you heard that, now you can see why Thomas is slow to his feet and still struggling. So the trainers are out. We'll take a break here in Green Bay. Cleveland threatening for a second time. So with Joey Thomas out, and he had taken the starting position away from Ahmad Carroll, but Carroll right back in now as Thomas is out. Second down and 8 for Cleveland. And a struggle, and Drones is going to cut back the other way. Dilfer threw a block for him. And a loss of a couple.
Did Trent Dilfer lose the snap? That's what it looked like. That's what happened. Yep, never got the snap cleanly.
Watch Dilfer, though, get right back in the play here.
Yeah, that was a good block on Campman.
Yep.
Well, good try to block.
Yeah.
But good recovery, and sometimes when you get in a situation like that, boy, it happens so fast. Just hold the football, take it back up in the middle, and try not to lose too much yardage.
They're saying from the Packer bench, head injury for Thomas, questionable to return. Third down and 12. Good protection. Lofts it. Flag down. Bryant the target. And that ball incomplete as Al Harris came away with it. But a flag at the 10-yard line.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Number 31 in the defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, I tell you, Mike Sherman and the Green Bay fans, they're just going, not again. This happened to him so many times last week. We talked about that's how Ahmad Carroll lost his job, and Al Harris absolutely went to the face. You could see the shot with his left hand to Antonio Bryant's face, and that's good for a first down.
It's the second critical penalty on the Green Bay defense. Deep into the field. And we'd heard from the Packers, they had sent up words that Thomas was questionable to return. Well, that question lasted.
Remains first down.
All of one play. He's back in. David Letterman, all new, and tomorrow night, be sure to join him. George Clooney, Terry Hatcher, Steve Martin, Ghost Whisperer star Jennifer Love Hewitt. Plus tomorrow, don't miss Martha Stewart on The Late Show with David Letterman. They've got William Green in the backfield along with Drones for the 5-yard penalty against Cleveland. 1st and 15. Dilfer fields the low snap, fakes left, goes right, over to William Green. Another flag down in the secondary, and Green advances it to the 10. Posey Coleman helped open up a path, gained 14, but a flag inside the 10, and the Packer defense are shaking their heads.
Well, this Packer team is trying to learn how to play a new defense too, just like Cleveland. Jim Bates from Miami, where he had so much success. There's Jim Bates. He had Sam Madison, Patrick Surtain at corner, and so he's trying to teach a lot of those techniques to his guys, and they're tough.
Holding, number 56. Defense, penalty is declined. Second down.
You know, Dilfer ran all the way over, some 15 yards away from Romeo Crennel, and said, do we want 2nd and 1 or 1st and 10? And they declined the penalty.
Right, because they would lose 9 yards if they just took the penalty. That play picked up 14, so good decision and quick thinking by Trent Dilfer and Romeo Crennel.
3-receiver formation. Braylon Edwards in the game. It's Drones. He steps straight ahead for another first down. 1st and goal to go for the Browns.
Jim, you could see what Mike Sherman was talking about. This offense, how can give you troubles, and they've done everything. A lot of different formations. They got movement. They've moved Trent Dilfer out of the pocket. They've thrown screens, and they have thrown it down the field. So you're on defense. You're sitting there going, okay, what's coming next?
Well, the Browns are already heading to the other end of the field. And they will have a goal-to-go situation when we start the second quarter. 7-7 after 1. We'll return to Lambeau after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Trent Dilfer involving a lot of the Browns so far.
Yeah, he has, and that's there's quite a few weapons on this Browns offense. As I would say, Jim, the cupboard was not dry or empty. Not dry, empty. There you go. The cupboard wasn't empty. Oh, whatever. You know what I mean.
The reservoir wasn't dry.
Yeah,
there we go. Dilfer, first play of the quarter, throws it out of bounds. They had some heavy pressure coming in on him.
Pressure and a good job throwing the football away. Trent Dilfer talked about how he wants to get back to being more athletic, and look at him moving out of the pocket and throwing the football on the run. And I'll tell you what, from a coaching standpoint, he gets on that right foot and he's spinning his body. That's exactly how you'd want to do it as a quarterback. So not only successful, good technique in completing those passes.
That was his first incompletion of the game. 2nd and goal from the 6. Lined up in the eye. The toss, Drones, and what a play. Flags are flying. Biamila got him all the way back at the 14. Roy Manning also helping out.
Well, it was a blitz by Green Bay.
They lost 8. Jeff Fain just kind of eavesdropping on the conversation.
And that's right. I know, you know, it's against Cleveland, just the way they're reacting.
We'll decline that.
17.
Illegal block in the back. Number 17, offense. Penalty is declined. Third down.
Well, Braylon Edwards, the rookie from Michigan, in motion, comes down the line, absolutely pushes Biamila from behind, and that is a penalty. Braylon Edwards really trying to do a terrific job blocking down the field, and so far has done that until that play.
Yeah, he's had some big blocks so far, but called for that one, but they refuse it. 3rd and goal. Dilfer fires, and that is not going to be what the Browns really needed at that point. So 4th and goal coming up. They'll bring out Dawson. Hayden with the catch.
Yeah, Trent Dilfer a little quick in his read that time. If he'd have stayed with the rookie, Braylon Edwards, he had the linebacker going down the middle of the field. Watch him go down the middle. They cross 56, Nick Barnett. Oh, that was the shot. He's going to hate it when he watches the film. Probably had a touchdown to Braylon Edwards.
Richardson on the hold. Dawson on the attempt. He was 2 for 2 last week. 21-yard try. And Cleveland takes advantage of the interception of a Brett Favre pass. Leads to a field goal. 10-7 Cleveland. America's most watched network will have it for you this week. So the run back by Davenport, a good one, out to the 38. And Ahman Green staying low, out to the 43. We've got an update. Let's send you back to Greg Gumbel in the studio in New York.
Jim and Phil in Denver, brand new National Football League record. LaDainian Tomlinson, 14th straight game with a rushing touchdown from 16 yards out. He gives the Chargers a 7-3 lead on Denver in the second quarter.
All right, thank you, Greg.
Wow, was there anybody there? Greg, you might have scored. No, you wouldn't. Never mind.
Oh, I think he would have.
No.
There's no question he would have. 2nd down, and the run by Green out near the 1st down yardage. Bonnie Bernstein with us as always. And Bonnie, down on the sidelines, what do you have?
Well, Jim, I bet a lot of people are wondering how the Packers are dealing with the loss for the season of Javon Walker. And Mike Sherman had a pretty telling response. He said, look, if we lose a Brett Favre, we can't replace that. But in a situation with a receiver, hopefully we can shift some things around and not see that much of a drop-off in production. Now, Robert Ferguson, who's taking over in that flanker spot for Walker, pretty interesting situation. He's been known pretty much for his play on special teams. He's been banged up through his career. He came into this season wanting to be more of an impact receiver, and now he has his chance.
And actually, yeah, Ferguson was the starter. Then Walker took it away from him several years ago, and now he's back, and all eyes focused on Ferguson. He has not been thrown to this point. This was the injury last week at Ford Field in Detroit. After the catch, the right knee buckling as the defender came in. Terrence Holt, torn ACL, will miss the rest of the season.
Yeah, and his spirits were high. What did Mike Sherman say? He said after the game, I went up, you want to console him? And he said, Javon Walker says, don't worry, coach. I will return faster than anybody ever. And it's, you know, that makes the organization, makes the players feel good when a guy like Javon Walker handles the injury that way. And they do have a little depth of receivers, so maybe they can withstand it.
3rd and inches after the measurement, and Ahman Green. Ahman has the first down at the 49.
Of course, you talk about this Green Bay Packers football team. It's like Mike Sherman said, it's so true up here. Jim, we were here, and we've been here quite a while, but 40 minutes before the game, everybody is sitting in the stands, and they're waiting. You know, it's not allowed music. They're just waiting for the game to start. As Mike Sherman said, you don't rebuild in Green Bay. They don't stand for that.
Nope, everybody expects us to win.
Yeah, they just reload, and it's a transition year. You just keep moving forward.
So 1st down for the Packers, and again, it's Green, his best run of the day, and it's good for another first, it appears. On this hurricane relief weekend, the victims of Hurricane Katrina never far from our thoughts. And you can help by calling 1-888-635-5944 or going to the website bushclintonkatrinaFund.org. The pledge lines are now open. That run good for a first. Davenport in the lineup for Ahman Green. And it's Davenport trying the right side. Plows ahead to the 36.
And, you know, we talked about this Cleveland Browns defense. Romeo Crennel becoming the head coach of the New England Patriots. 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers. And he kind of admits that, look, we might not have the personnel yet to get it done. So Green Bay keeps running the ball up the middle. I look for the Cleveland Browns to change up a little up front, to do something different, because you just can't let them keep smashing the football at you. There's Todd Grantham, defensive coordinator.
All 5 plays on this series after the previous series ended in an interception. All rushes until now. Spark going down the sideline. Looking for Driver again, and well guarded by Gary Baxter, new member of the Browns, a big free agent acquisition in the offseason coming over from the Ravens.
Well, what they did, look what they did. Cleveland Browns, now they cover inside because they said, to heck with you. You're running the football on us. Like you said, Jim, they just keep pounding it, so change your defensive front. And Green Bay, right on cue, throws it down the field because they have what they want, but good coverage stops the completion down the field.
They brought in Terrence Murphy as an extra receiver. Tony Fisher in on 3rd down in the backfield. And movement on the right side. It looks like the Packers.
False start, number 79, offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
That was William Whitaker jumping early. Tomorrow, a night of premieres, and Monday's biggest show returns with a killer secret. Don't miss the explosive new season, CSI Miami, tomorrow at 10/9 Central here on America's most watched network.
Big week at CBS, huh? A lot of new stuff.
All the new stuff coming out, rolling out starting this week.
I'll critique it and tell you all about it next week.
Next week during the promos, you can tell me thumbs up, thumbs down. Here in 3rd down, it's Favre. And that one falls incomplete and no flag. Crowd begging for it. McCutcheon on the coverage.
That was just good coverage. This game kind of resembles what Green Bay did last week. The offense in rhythm early, and then it just stalls out. And good timing by McCutcheon coming over the back.
Didn't feel a little bit early there at all?
Not at all.
Right on?
No, no, come on.
So McCutcheon with a big pick and a pass defense there. He's defended, and the punt by Sander is fielded by Northcutt, 16-yard line. 25-yard punt, got it inside the 20. 10-7 Cleveland, 2nd quarter. And Reggie White is going to be remembered here at halftime. His jersey is going to be retired. The late, great defensive lineman, the Minister of Defense as he was known. We're going to unveil it right there at halftime. And his daughter was here to sing the national anthem. 1st down for Cleveland. As Drones gets out near the 20. Only the 5th jersey number ever retired in the history of this storied franchise.
That's hard to believe with all the tremendous players and championships they have won up here. Look at some of the names. It's really, Brett Favre was, we talked to him on Friday, and Jim, weren't you just a little taken back by his thoughts about the history and what it means to be up here and how special a place it is?
Well, I loved it. I just loved his appreciation for the history and the heritage. How important it was to him to feel it. 2nd down and a flag, and almost picked on the tip. Robert Thomas almost able to reach it. Hayden again was the target.
Illegal contact. Number 55, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
Well, when the flag comes from the back judge, it's going to be on the inside receiver. Hyde, number 82, is going to come across the middle of the field. Well, that contact happens more than 5 yards down the field. That is a good call. That was a big emphasis last year. It was called quite a bit. So they're going to continue to watch those receivers and make sure there's not contact after 5 yards.
It looked like it was Barnett who hit him, and it was Thomas who almost made the pick. I think the officials got the numbers mixed up. The 2nd penalty of the game on Barnett. And on 1st down, Drones for about 7.
So far, I know it's early, but this Cleveland offense, the offensive line, we talked about it. It could be the strength of the football team. they are winning the battles up front, allowing Trent Dilfer time to throw, and they are letting the running game mush it up in there for a few yards.
Well, now that you've exposed Dilfer's career record here, 0-6 in the regular season as a Bucs quarterback, plus a playoff loss, and then 3 losses at Seattle, although he really wasn't a factor in those games. He said he knows all about playing here as far as momentum. It becomes such a huge factor playing up here. There's a carry for a first down by Drones. It's interesting to hear Trent talk about some of the teams and how close they came to winning in Green Bay, but never pulling it off. He says, I have been on teams that when it got loud, they just kind of wilted.
Yeah. Hey, what do you talk about? Momentum up here. The crowd noise. And, of course, there was a media guy right in front of me. He goes, and that guy.
The guy on the cover of it?
Yeah, Brett Favre.
Says, we need poise and arrogance to win at Green Bay. I said, do you have it here on this team? He says, I think we do. First down, Dilfer. Again, well protected, open man, and he missed his target by a lot, Antonio Bryant. His career games, 3 touchdowns, 8 intercepted, sacked 23 times. It's now up. We're going to throw him a 4th touchdown with his earlier toss to Hayden.
Now, you know, you look at those numbers, they're terrible, but remember, he played most of those games up here when Reggie White, they were going to the Super Bowl back-to-back years. They were a tremendous football team, so he's not facing the same defense today.
Second down, and look at Reuben Drones. Takes 2 to bring him down after a run of 7. Corey McIntyre came in at fullback and helped unleash the whole line push.
Well, you look at this line. Jeff Fain, Colsey Coleman, the right guard. Look at the hole he has inside. And we've already talked about Reuben Drones. He's not going to try to be pretty. He's going to get to the tough yards. And his teammates and his coaches, they appreciate the tough yards. Fans, sometimes they don't.
3rd down and 4 for the Browns. Fake to Drones. Dilfer fires and incomplete. Intended for Northcutt with Barnett defending. And that gets the crowd stirred for one of the first times today.
Get him going. Nick Barnett said, I got to do a good job covering a tight end when he's to my side. That time, excellent job. Stops the 3rd down pass.
Antonio Chapman, the return man, waiting for the kick from Kyle Richardson. It's a good boot. Under the 14-yard line, no fair catch. Here comes Chapman. And a lot of congestion and a late flag. That side of the field filled up pretty quickly. And then a flag, which could very well bring a lot of it back. For 43-yard punt, 16-yard return.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 96. Receiving team, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Midway through the second quarter here in Green Bay, and Cleveland winning on the road. Packers at the line. Down 10-7 from their own 13. Go with Ahman Green for a couple. Coming up, we've got the Sprint halftime report with Greg and Dan and Shannon and Boomer. All the scores and highlights from earlier today, plus the late games. San Diego winning out in the Mile High City right now, 14-3. Plus all the other highlights from earlier today. Big win by some blowouts out there, Phil. How about the Bears? How about the Bengals over Minnesota? Some real one-sided affairs. Pittsburgh pounding Houston on their home turf. Second down and 8. Pump fake, going short. It's Green shaking off a tackle and getting out to the 32 for a first. Got away from Sean Thompson.
When you look at this Green Bay Packers football team now, in years past, they had a lot of things they could go to. Brett Favre wants to pump to the right side. Not many quarterbacks can do this. Pulls it back down and just flicks it over the middle. But they've been such a solid team for so long, and I think that has changed. As we said, it's a team in transition. So for this team to win now, Brett Favre has to be a tighter, more proficient quarterback than he's been in the past. So he's got to be careful, take advantage of almost every opportunity when it comes to him.
Timeout Cleveland. By the way, he goes over 50,000 yards passing on his career with that last completion. Third man in history, joining Marino and Elway.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by DLP Technology from Texas Instruments. It doesn't get any more real than this. And by the all-new Civic from Honda. It'll reverse your thinking.
Well, during that timeout, they announced to the crowd here the milestone mark for Favre, and a minute and a half standing ovation followed. And an acknowledgement to the fans here in Green Bay. Dan Marino, all time, over 61,000 yards. And John Elway, second, and certainly could be caught this season. If healthy, will be caught. And there's Davenport straight ahead for 4. What do you think of when you hear 50,000 career yards?
Well, it's hard to think of being an ex-quarterback in this league, how hard it is, one, just to play, but guys that do it, they're special. There's no question about it. And all three of these guys, Dan Marino, John Elway, and Brett Favre, might be physically as good as anybody that's ever played just throwing the football. And, you know, I hear it all the time. Well, throwing to the arm is not that important. What, are you crazy?
Second down, Favre. Run with it this time, has a first down by a wide margin and doesn't even get hit as he steps out at the 45. Good piece of running for Brett. Picked up 20.
Well, the 50,000 yards, and he's getting this crowd back on its feet. And Brett Favre, he prides himself in the fact that, hey, even though he's played 15 years, he still wants to be athletic enough to do everything he wants on the football field that's going to make him happy. And the arm, there's no question, it's still one of the best in the league. Look at that, how happy he is. But it's pretty impressive after 15 years, he can still get out of the pocket and run like that.
Moves it into Cleveland territory for the first time since their opening drive, which resulted in a touchdown. Favre, complete. Over to Leach. And with 5 minutes to go in the half, they're inside the 40. Through the years, it started out in Atlanta. First game back in September of '92 for the Packers. The Super Bowl win. 207 consecutive starts, the all-time mark for a quarterback in the history of the game. He has now 4,340 career completions. And that's Green getting back to the line. We asked Brett Favre how he would describe himself in his career.
I think I'm unorthodox, more so than any other guy that's probably played, but that's my style. And at times it's inspiring, other times it's uninspiring, but it's me.
Special weekend, not only the home opener and the recognition for his great friend, the late Reggie White, but some 40 family members and friends are up from the Gulf Coast for the weekend. Favre, he falls down at the 45, could not get away. That's Orpheus Roy bringing him down. We spoke with Roy yesterday, and he was all enthused about Cleveland and the new attitude around here. More people smiling, more energy, and a whole lot of energy expended by that defense on that play.
That sack came because of the coverage. The Browns doing a better job covering receivers down the field this week.
It's the grab at the 15. Sander 28-yard punt. Brett Favre, he's got his 50,000. The Packers are down a field goal in their home opener. As this Favre start streak goes to 207, look at all the quarterbacks during that same time frame for the Cleveland Browns franchise. Of course, a franchise dormant 96 through 98, but all the different quarterbacks since his starting streak began. 14 in all in the Browns franchise stretch. Brisman Jackson is in for the Browns, coming off a big game, 8 catches and 128 yards and a touchdown last week. And the give, Drones to the 21. It's not too late, by the way, to run your fantasy league with CBS Sportsline's Fantasy Football Commissioner. Start your free trial today by clicking on Fantasy Football, CBSSportsline.com. What do you think the Browns will do here, Phil, with 3:12 to go in the first half?
Well, Jim, they did what you'd expect them to do, the first down. Run the football, get in a good situation, and now they're bringing out some different looks. 5 wide receivers.
2 timeouts to work with. Right up the middle they go, and it's Jackson, Frisman Jackson, just coming in. And his first catch of the game, Ahmad Carroll on the hit.
Well, Frisman Jackson comes over, hits Baja Biamila on the right, then he slips inside, and look at that, another screen play by the Cleveland Browns, and they are doing an excellent job with these screens so far. Frisman Jackson had a terrific game last week. Today we're seeing Braylon Edwards in the game a little more, but he gets in there, takes advantage of his time.
And his first career touchdown last week. Ruben Drones banging bodies out to the 37, and they rule him down. The ball squirted loose at the end, but an emphatic signal here by the official.
Well, they ruled it down, so it doesn't matter if Green Bay has it in their hands or whatever. It's going to be the Cleveland Browns football. Ruben Drones inside. Nice cutback. A lot of different runs this defense has seen, and that was a fumble.
Wow, that was clearly a fumble. We reached the 2-minute warning in Green Bay. Along with Bonnie Bernstein, Jim Nance, Phil Simms back here in Green Bay, and go ahead and square away. You're going to see here in a minute that was a fumble, but
it was a fumble, but once the officials declare it down, no matter what, if it was a fumble, it doesn't, the play is dead. And Jim, you know, the officials have done a much better job over the last couple years waiting as long as they can before they blow the whistle just for plays like that.
Drones able to shake off a tackle and pick up the first down. So they're at the 45-yard line, and Ruben Drones with a nice effort.
2 nice efforts, nice catch, and then a good job of picking up the first down.
Nice Drones. 48. And again, Phil, just to clarify here for everybody saying, wait a minute. Ball squirted out, but the whistle not reviewable. And a timeout called by the Browns. We're back. The Browns have 1 timeout. You're looking for a target line. Dawson's career long 52. Needs to get to about the 34. Be in that career long neighborhood. But Dilfer hit when he threw it. Still got it away with zip. And what a catch at the 39-yard line. What a pass. Northcutt with the reception.
You're right, Trent Dilfer. You don't realize it until you get around him how big he is, strong, able to stand in the pocket, and he's getting hit and still can throw it down the middle for the completion.
Nearing a minute to play in the half, and Dilfer again fires. And that's Braylon Edwards with the catch, and another first down. And the rookie quickly to his feet. Dilfer was impressed by the week of practice by the rookie. Said had an awesome week of practice. Improved a great deal in just this 1 week. And a spike to stop the clock at 48 seconds. Coming up, the Sprint halftime report. Greg and Dan, Shannon and Boomer, all the latest NFL scores and highlights all coming up on the Sprint halftime report. Which score from earlier today really got your attention, would you say?
Shoot, which one? What do you mean?
Which one?
Almost every game.
Carolina.
Was like, well, Tennessee just winning so handily over Baltimore. I was getting ready to say taking it behind the woodshed, Jim. But that was impressive.
Up ahead, it's Drones, and that was read by the Packers defense. Picked up only a yard. Corey Williams tripped him up. So 3rd and 9 coming up. Baja Biamila is out of the Packers lineup, hobbled off the field to the sideline. So 3rd and 9 from the gun. Great protection, and Dilfer comes out of the pocket. Now will run for it and dives, and he's going to be a little bit short. Cullen Jenkins racing after him. Was able to escape Kenny Peterson.
Well, we talked about it, Jim. We said it. He just wanted to get back to being more athletic. He tore his Achilles in 2002. And what did he say? This summer was the first time he really felt like he was back to where he was before he ruptured his Achilles, I should say.
It took almost 3 years to really get back to where he was. And he actually said he tried to reinvent his body this year. Part of me is very fresh, my mind and my will. And they're going to have another timeout called. 17 seconds to go in the half. Dawson will be lining up for what looks like about a 39-yard attempt when we come back. Phil Dawson has already made one field goal in this quarter. And this one will be from 39 yards. Pomprian will snap it back to Kyle Richardson. And another stoppage of play.
Timeout. Green Bay, first team timeout. Will be a 30-second timeout.
You know, the Packers, their first timeout of the half. When you look back through the history of this rivalry, the names that come to mind, the Paul Browns, the Vince Lombardis, but the NFL championship game, January 2nd, 1966, and Jim Brown, who's here today, his last game ever. He was held to 50 yards rushing. Paul Hornung led the way with 105 yards and a touchdown as Lombardi and the Packers defeated the Browns 23-12 right here at Lambeau Field. The 1965 season NFL championship.
I've seen that run by Paul Hornung like 5,000 times. And I always say the same thing. He's got the football in the wrong hand.
Yeah, I noticed that. So Dawson kicks right through. True again. 2 for 2 on the day. 13 seconds to go in the half, and the Browns leading 13-7 with 13 unanswered after giving up an opening drive touchdown to Green Bay. When you're down 7-zip that quickly on the road and you respond like this, that's pretty strong stuff for Romeo Crennel's crew. Saturday, the Home Depot SEC on CBS rocks on when Chris Leak and the Florida Gators tangle with the Kentucky Wildcats. How will the Gators back up their big win last night over Tennessee? We'll have it for you next Saturday here on CBS, all beginning with the TIAA Craft College Football Today. Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman next Saturday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. College Football Today right here on CBS.
Florida was impressive last night, their defense, so it's easy to back things up when you got a good defense. Oh, here we go. Under 70. Over. What was in the temperature today was?
76.
76. Well, shoot, there we go. Shouldn't have played.
Yeah. Should have when they rebuilt this magnificent stadium a few years ago, put a dome on it and put the air conditioning down under 70 degrees. They never would have lost. I mean, why aren't people thinking about this?
Hey, Jim, you're thinking outside the box. That's all I can say.
That's way out of the box. But Sherman's record through the years, though,
it's been very good, and
it gets better by the month.
That's right.
It gets colder.
But today they're getting outplayed. Cleveland, their agenda, they are following through with what they wanted to accomplish here.
So from the 10-yard line, it's Carroll. He is met head-on at the 25. Nick Spiegel with the hit. Thursday after CSI, by the way, be the first to catch TV's next great thriller. Mandy Patinkin, Shamar Moore, and Thomas Gibson star in Criminal Minds. Special premiere right after CSI Thursday on CBS, America's top network. And with 8 seconds to go in the half, down 13-7. Favre and the Packers.
Well, last week, Carson Palmer lit up this Cleveland Browns secondary. Today, Brett Favre, only 9 attempts. So a whole different plan trying to go against it, trying to run football.
Cleveland will have first possession of the second half. They'll get the kick.
Well, 2 things stood out in the first half to me. Cleveland could cover the Green Bay Packer wide receivers, and the Cleveland Browns wide receivers were getting open for Trent Dilfer down the field.
Let's go down to the sideline. Devani.
Well, Jim, one of Romeo Crennel's goals was to see improvement from your defense every week. What have they done to keep Green Bay scoreless since that early first quarter touchdown?
Well, we've improved. Every week we've improved a little bit. Last week we took a step back. So it looks like this week we're taking a step forward, for this first half. We're going to try to keep it going the second half. I think that will be important because I think Green Bay will come back fired up in the second half.
Coach, thanks.
Cleveland leads at 13-7 at the intermission. And we'll be back with the Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. We are back live at Lambeau Field. It has been a touching halftime ceremony here. Reggie White's widow, Sarah, with a stirring 2-minute speech.
Please take Reggie's number 92 home with you where it belongs. And now, please unveil the number 92 as it takes its rightful place
the retired
among
number.
the true legends in Packer history.
Son Jeremy
Reggie,
raising his
you are
arms.
simply the best.
Brett Favre came out to catch the back end of this presentation. He told us on Friday he really hoped he'd be able to see it. Sarah Jacolia, the daughter who sang the national anthem, son Jeremy, as Green Bay celebrates simply the best as they are playing it here. Minister of Defense Reggie White passed away last December 26th, and we lost him far, far too young. His jersey now retired.
Live Packers press conference after today's game on WMLW.
At Lambeau and Phil, you knew Reggie White so well. This whole halftime was very special to be here to see it.
Yeah, it really was, Jim. And talking about Reggie White, of course, he was a great person. But as a player, he was the best defensive player I ever played against, bar none. And I took a lot of hits from him. But what made him special, he'd beat me up, hit me on the ground, then he'd pick me up and pat me on the rear end and say, that's the way to hang in there. He'd spur me on even in some tough moments. So really a special person and an unbelievable football player.
An unbelievable man. As all the Packers who knew him will tell you, you got to know him in passing situations far better than you ever really wanted
That's
to.
right.
I think the record book shows.
Yep, he sacked me more than anybody else.
And here we go with the second half. With the Browns, Perkins racing it up the middle and then knocked down at the 29. You weren't the only one on that list that is in the building here today. There's Trent Dilfer. He was third all time, Trent Dilfer, in most times sacked by Reggie White.
It's everybody that was in his division. Neil Lomax was in the NFC East. And then when Reggie White came up here, Trent Dilfer was in the same division down in Tampa Bay.
So now the fifth number in Green Bay history to be retired just moments ago, 92. Cleveland from the 29. And Drones knocked down for a loss of a yard. And the summary here, really the most amazing thing is after this hookup on the first series of the game to Driver, Favre and the Packers really did very little else on offense. That was matched, that touchdown, by Cleveland's first possession down the field to Hayden. And then a Dawson field goal, 21, another one from 39 for the 13-7 lead. Second down and 11 for the Browns. Reuben Drones with 42 yards rushing in this game as you check the CBS stat tracks. Maybe a free play here for Dilfer. He hits Antonio Bryant out at the 45.
Defense. Offside number 75 lined up in the neutral zone. Penalty is declined. First down.
First down. Let's go down to Bonnie Bernstein. Bonnie?
Well, Jim, Mike Sherman said offensively speaking for the Packers, he wasn't that disappointed in the ball movement. He said we had a turnover. We couldn't always convert on third down, but not that bad. On defense, he said they have to make better on first and second down. I want them to create a turnover. And just a note, Joe, when the players walked out, there was a jersey of Reggie White hanging on the way out.
And they're out to the 50-yard line. That's Jenkins on the hit. Drones now with 45 on the game. For the fantasy players out there, first half numbers, Dilfer, very strong, 135 and a touch. Favre had only 2 completions after that first series. There's Drones numbers, Green, very similar. And you look at the receivers, Bubba Franks without a catch, and Ferguson in for Javon Walker without a pass thrown in his direction. 2nd and 7. And Drones, oh boy, he made a couple extra yards out of that. Initially hit by Grady Jackson.
Well, you heard Bonnie Bernstein say to Mike Sherman, told her that the defense has got to do better on first and second down. Now, we started today's game, the Cleveland Browns offense. Romeo Cornell says if we can run it well enough to make them crowd the line of scrimmage, well, guess what? They are crowding the line of scrimmage. That's why Trent Dilfer threw that ball down the field to Antonio Bryant. So they're going to get some chances to go down deep down the field and get a score.
3rd and 5, and an early big one for Cleveland. Can they sustain the drive? Dilfer's pass wide of Hayden.
Well, that was an excellent read by Trent Dilfer. Second receiver coming through. He tries to take something off the football, but Steve Hayden not able to catch it. Really a very catchable pass. Should have taken it in.
Yep, should have had that one. On the second look, no doubt, Chapman back to field the punt. He snags it at the 8. That's where Green Bay will come out for the first time in this half after the 41-yard boot by Sander. By Richard.
Telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Driver cuts the corner and high steps it home for the touchdown. Take the drone, open man, it's Hayden, touchdown. We've had 2 touchdowns in this game. Each team with the first time they had it today, taking it all the way. And now the Packers start the second half. And stacked up right away is Ahman Green, maybe a yard. Who mentioned Favre was out here to see the end of the Reggie White presentation. He wanted to go on and on about Reggie and talk about his fallen ex-colleague. And he said it was so neat to him how Reggie came here, knew history, and it meant something to him to know that Willie Wood had played here, Herb Adderley, or Willie Davis. He said he knew all that. He was studied up on it, and he loved that about him. And now from the 10-yard line, 2nd down and 9. And Driver falls at the 15th, 3rd and 4 on the way. Here's what Brett also had to say about Reggie White.
Not only was he a great player, such an imposing person. And I could go on and on about it, what he meant to football, but he just as good as he was in football and as great as he was a teammate, he was 10 times better person.
10 times better person. 3rd and 4. Favre. And they had a defender right in his face, just had to get rid of it. It was in the area of Murphy, and Orpheus Roy already with a sack, almost got a second one.
Yeah, you look at it, nobody's open down the field for Brett Favre, and you got to start wondering, Jim, hey, the Javon Walker not being here, when you start moving receivers down the ladder, or the 3rd receiver, you move up the 2nd, and so on, it really affects your passing game, and the wide receivers are not getting open for the Green Bay Packers.
First time Sander today has been able to let it loose. He's tried to pooch it the first 2 times. Northcutt at the 35 and able to shake off one Packer, but he's got nowhere to hide this time. Carroll got to him first. 50-yard punt. And then he finished him off. Lost 11 on the attempted run back. Favre talks it up with his teammates.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 40. Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar, eating good in the neighborhood. Applebee's. And by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge.
Big play by the Packers special teams, having the punt from the 15, and Sander able to get a 61-yard net. And a 5-receiver formation for Cleveland as they come out at the 24.
This will make the defense sit back and not try to pressure you when you get a formation like this.
And the pass over in the area of Frisman Jackson. Joey Thomas defending. So they mix it up here a little bit.
Well, you know, just trying to change the tempo, but what they're going to see when this game is over. Look at Trent Dilfer last week, and what he's done today has been very efficient today, throwing the football very well. But, Jim, you talked about it earlier. Trent Dilfer said Braylon Edwards had a tremendous week of practice, and he is getting open over the middle. Trent Dilfer's just got to start looking for him a little more.
Second down and 10. Dilfer able to get it away just barely in time as Aaron Campman was in his face and then able to pile drive him to the turf. 3rd and 10 on the way.
Well, it's twice today that Trent Dilfer has gotten rid of this football, and this must be well scouted out by the Green Bay Packers. You know, Trent Dilfer, it's not like you're going to worry about him getting to the edge and getting a lot of yards. But Aaron Campman, we talk so much about Baja Biamila. You leave him out. He has played well. He played well last week. He played well last year, and he's having a good day today.
Browns have not converted on 3rd down today. And they've got 3rd and long. Dilfer redirects from the gun. Fires, gets his man, Braylon Edwards, and right on your cue there, Mr. Sims. 1st down, Cleveland.
Well, this is something they've done earlier in the game, Jim. They just did it with a different receiver. But Braylon Edwards, that time he goes down the field. He's against Joey Thomas, number 24. Look at that space. It's zone coverage. Oh, man, and that is a nice throw by Trent Dilfer, sticking it in between the defenders.
Well, that great practice work we've talked about this week. Dilfer waxing about that. And straight ahead again, it's Reuben Drone.
You know, it's interesting, too. We were talking to Al Harris, defensive back for the Packers. And I don't know how it came up, and I said something about Trent Dilfer. And I said, what's the scouting report? And he goes, well, not a very strong arm. I said, what, excuse me? What? He says, well, that's what somebody we had written down. I go, well, whoever wrote that report up, he ought to be, he ought to check what he's doing, because Trent Dilfer definitely has a strong arm, and he can get it down the field with ease. It's not a lot of effort for him to throw it 20 yards down the field.
2nd and 8, and Drones fumbles and wisely just falls on it. So a mistake, sizable one at that, sets up 3rd and long, loss of 8.
Well, what it is, it's a drive killer. It just ruins the drive, and it's Reuben Drones, like a receiver when he drops a pass, was looking at the blocking up front before he caught the pitch from Trent Dilfer.
3rd and 16. Northcutt to the left. Bryant and Braylon Edwards to the right. No shotgun. They'll take it under center. Pumps. Goes long. Edwards almost makes the one-handed grab. Nick Collins came over on the end of the play, but Edwards was open.
He was, and Trent Dilfer just needed a little bit more time to throw it down the field. Braylon Edwards, nice move. Joey Thomas has no chance. Look at the separation, and Trent Dilfer under pressure. That's why the throw was off target. Boy, it's Braylon Edwards. He has a little pop. He has speed. That's why he's getting open.
Second punt of the half. And the Packers run away from this one. And a favorable Brown bounce to the 20. Kyle Richardson will get a good number with that one. 47 yards. The Browns up by 6. Packers back here. Happy birthday. You got it. Play action. Favre. First option not there. And goes back the other way. And well defended. That's Bubba. And his first catch of the day, Bubba Franks. Kennard Lang got to him first.
Well, you're Brett Favre. You drop back. Good protection. Watch the receiver up top and the receiver down here. Those are the two main ones. He wants to go down the field. Neither one is open. They run routes that are just, they're the wrong routes for the receivers to be running against that coverage. So Brett Favre finds nobody open, makes a good throw, but loses yards.
Lost a couple. Second down and 12. Favre flings. Driver hammered, but holds on. Ben Taylor walloped him, but Driver picks up 22 yards.
Donald Driver, he is the explosive one making the plays, or really the only plays for the Green Bay wide receivers today. What a job hanging on to that football, too. And that's this Green Bay offense. They've relied so much on the run and the play-action passes over the years. It's different. The offensive line is not as dominant this year. Brett Favre still has the arm. Let him show it off.
Try to show it one more time. Back over to Driver. And Driver steps out after a gain of 8.
Well, you look at Donald Driver. We talked to him on Friday, Jim, and has a good laugh. Look at these hands, and you know why they're taped.
Yeah, it's a sad story, too.
Yeah, you can't see the right hand, but it's all taped up, too. And
those are all casualties.
They're casualties of catching Brett Favre's footballs. And how many times did he say he'd broken fingers on one hand?
Counted 5 times in his career. He's had fractures on his fingers.
And when after Brett does it, he flexes his arm and says, got some power there.
William Henderson brings it into Cleveland territory to the 46. Let's go back down to Bonnie.
You know what's funny about Donald Driver, Jim? He's like, you know what? I'm 30. People think I'm on the downside of my career, but hey, I got so much to prove. He wanted to point out to people the first 3 years or so, I was behind Antonio Freeman. I didn't get a whole lot of playing time, and even though he had career in catches and receiving yards last year, he's like, I think I can put up 85, 90 catches this year.
Well, he's showing that today, Bonnie. On the toss, it's Green, the 43. You know, Donald Driver, that bandaged up hand. Now, there aren't any broken bones there right now, but, you know, the old aches and pains through, you know, some of the broken bones through the years. And he said, hey, he got me again this week. He jammed another one of my fingers. Because you were wondering about the arm strength of Favre and how would you rate it as a receiver. It's still there. He's still out there breaking bones.
Oh, listen, when you see him in person, and I tell people this, he's different. It's like watching Randy Moss in person. You just go, wow, he's faster and different than other receivers. And Brett Favre, TV doesn't do it justice, how well he can throw the football.
William Henderson trying to get to that first down yardage. He's a yard shy.
And you talked about, hey, just listening now, listen to the crowd. Brett Favre is doing his thing. What did Trent Dilfer say? It's about momentum up here. The crowd and everybody, they get into it. And when you got number 4 at quarterback, when things get rolling, if you give him a chance, he's going to make the throw on you.
He's 5 for 5 on this series.
71's eligible.
Kevin Barry in as an extra lineman and is eligible as a receiver on 3rd and 1. Davenport, great blocking, and he easily has the first down. Adrian Clem also has to get his credit for helping make that room for Davenport.
You know, when your offensive line is just not what Adrian Clem, 70, coming around, just that's it. Push the pile, gives Davenport just enough room to get it done. Bubba Franks against Kennard Lang, pretty good job. But when your offensive line is not as dominant, you've got to be a more creative play caller.
Green back in, and he is swallowed up at the 30. Orpheus Roy. But they're starting to get a nice rhythm for the first time since the opening drive. You know, last week on the NFL.com poll, we asked you which rookie offensive player would have the biggest impact this season, and you all voted for, well, Cadillac Williams, who went over 100 again today and a touchdown. How about for the defensive rookie? Which one will make the biggest impact? You can vote at NFL.com.
Take that guy from the Cowboys. DeMarcus Ware.
Second down from the 30. Favre has his man, and then a fumble on the back end. And he held on to it. That was Ferguson. His first catch of the game, and what a break as the ball bounced up in the air and right back into his arms.
When you throw the ball over the middle, the Cleveland Browns defense is converging fast.
Well, it wasn't even a catch until this point.
Pops up
so
in
it wasn't
the air.
a fumble at all. How about that? Mickens and Taylor were in the area for Cleveland, but Ferguson snags it for his first reception.
The biggest thing is protect yourself when you go over the middle.
First down for the Packers. Davenport back to the line of scrimmage. That's actually Tony Fisher. And was there a fumble on the back end? They rule him down. No gain. Fast-moving third quarter. And the Packers putting together a nice drive. Rushing yards, the edge to Green Bay. Passing yards to the Browns, although Favre is certainly warming up.
Yeah, when you sit here and you watch the game, and Jim, I don't know how you feel, but I just feel like the Cleveland Browns have dominated the pace, the physical part of it, everything, and all of a sudden I go, wow, a touchdown pass here, and the Green Bay Packers are leading.
11th play of the drive. That's exactly how you feel. Favre looking, lofting, and in the end zone, it's intercepted. A flag is thrown as Gary Baxter had that one defended. Ferguson was Favre's target.
There is no penalty on the play. The ball was intercepted. Touchback,
Wow.
First down. Cleveland.
Gary Baxter activated this week after not playing last week. Coming back from a concussion. Makes the big play in the end zone with the pick.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sony TV. Transform the way you watch football with Sony, the world's greatest high-definition television. And by new Budweiser Select, brewed for a crisp taste that finishes clean. Be selective.
From the 20 after the pick and the touchback. Dilfer, watch out, got it away in time, and the ball bouncing around. Northcutt had a hand on it for a moment, but there was a lot of pressure coming in on Dilfer. How about that interception?
Yeah, let's go back here. He throws it down here, but that's not what I'm going to show you. Watch Donald Driver go down the middle. Bubba Franks up the sideline and the fullback in the flat. It's 1, 2, 3. That's what he's supposed to do. 1, 2. He doesn't look at the fullback wide open. Then he takes a chance, just trying to hoping Robert Ferguson is going to make a play, but it's really into the strength of the defense, and that's why it's intercepted. Fullback was wide open for about an 8 or 10 yard gain.
Second down and 10. On the slant, there goes Braylon Edwards. Edwards on a foot race, and no one's going to get near him. 80 yards for the Browns and the touchdown.
Well, that play reminded me of Trent Dilfer back when he played for the Baltimore Ravens. He threw some short passes that were just caught and gone. And Jim, you've said it. Trent Dilfer says this Braylon Edwards is something else. Against Joey Thomas making his first start, he sticks it right to his chest, and that's what you want, a wide receiver who can get out in the open and nobody can catch him.
80 yards for a touchdown. His first NFL touchdown coming after the interception of a Favre pass. And Trent Dilfer's longest completion in 3 years. It's a big one, but the extra point is blocked. Looked like Cullen Jenkins got in there. But Dilfer and Cleveland up that lead to 19-7. Well, you got to look why Braylon Edwards was the third pick in the NFL draft this past spring. First NFL touchdown. After what Trent Dilfer said was an awesome week of practice, he improved a tremendous amount this week alone. Davenport finally fields it, and immediately the Browns are there. What did you see, Phil?
Well, here's why he catches the ball and runs for a touchdown. We talked about it. Romeo Crennel, will they crowd the line of scrimmage? They do. There's nobody back deep. And watch Braylon Edwards over here. Takes his time, patience, nice fake outside, and he splits the defenders, and he is gone. A rookie, having patience, taking his time, and really faking out Joey Thomas. It gives him the room, and once he catches it, he's gone.
Point after missed, blocked by Jenkins, the first after 45 straight makes by Phil Dawson. Right side run, and that's Ahman Green for 5. Maybe 3, actually. Here's Braylon Edwards out of Michigan, the Biletnikoff Award winner. All kinds of records for the Wolverines.
First time I saw Braylon Edwards this year, it was in a preseason game against the Detroit Lions, and I watched him and I just went, wow, he looks pretty good. He just looks good in his uniform.
Yes,
you can see he's explosive and he's physical, and that's a tremendous combination.
It's Green, first down to the 38. He has that size when you're just eyeballing it here. He's got the same kind of size as like a Terrell Owens that you see in person.
That's a good description.
Tomorrow on CBS, big night of premieres. You can't miss it. The King of Queens, Kevin James and Leah Remini return to Monday night. All new coming up tomorrow for everyone. How I Met Your Mother, 2.5 Men, and Out of Practice, then CSI Miami. And Dave's all new also here on America's Most Watched Network. Davenport in for Green. Hard. For the Bubba Franks. It's a gain of 8.
Completion,
A minute to go in the third quarter. And the Packers have given up 19 unanswered to Cleveland.
Well, they can be patient. The running game still has a chance to be there because the Cleveland Browns, look, they see the score, 19-7. They're going to play pass. So it's going to be much easier to block them on run plays now.
Second and short. It's Davenport. And he has the first down yardage. McKinley on the tackle, but Davenport got what he needed. And that may do it for the quarter.
You know, they got it rolling. I tell you, if I was the quarterback, I'd say let's get one more play before this runs out, but they're going to let the clock go to the fourth quarter.
They led 13-7 at halftime, Cleveland. They add 6 more in the third quarter on the electrifying pass to Edwards. We'll continue in a moment. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Are now open. Donald Lee is a second tight end for the Packers as we begin the final quarter, and Green Bay down 19-7. On first down, Favre brings it out in the open. Ahman Green, well defended by Gary Baxter, who's having a big game. This secondary for Cleveland bolstered in the offseason. They bring over Gary Baxter from Baltimore and Brian Russell, who had started every game the last 2 years for Minnesota. He's their free safety. There he is.
And there he is. And he's, you know, he voiced it or put it all in perspective for us. He goes, you're worried when you play Brett Favre because he is a home run hitter. But then you get excited because you know he's going to take some chances. And we've seen him twice today take 2 chances, and they both ended in interceptions.
In the round with Chapman. Chapman trying to unleash that speed, and he gets near the first down. Looks like he's got it. You know, those interceptions you mentioned, Russell not with one of them, but they've come up with a couple.
Well, a little quick throw. Andre Davis gets his hand, causes the interception, and this is the bad one.
McCutcheon got the first, Baxter the second.
Even Brett Favre has to show patience when he's trying to throw the football, and when you get a little impatient in this league, there's too many good athletes.
Yeah, he may not have that first. They're going to measure for that first down, but talking about Brian Russell, he was very excited, he said, about being with this Cleveland franchise. He's, I like it. There's a fresh start. We've got a defensive-minded coach with 5 Super Bowl rings. I want just one. I want one. He's got 5. But very excited about what's happening here. And he says about his coach Crennel, when he says something, I'm writing it down, taking it to heart. And this defense has responded after bending so much on that first series and allowing them to drive right down and score.
And a good turnaround for him this week too, Jim. Carson Palmer and the Bengals just marched up and down the field against them last week. Today the coverage has been much tighter, better, and they just look more organized. Hey, and really they look tougher too as a defensive football team so far.
3rd and inches. And Davenport gets the yardage. It's happened a couple of times in short yardage. Davenport delivering. Picks up 5 for the first. See why the New York Daily News says threshold leaves you not only wanting more, but hungry for it. Catch a new episode Friday at 9, 8 Central here on America's #1 network, CBS. It's down for Green Bay from the 37. It was the #1 offense. Green Bay in the NFC last year. Davenport bouncing out after another good game. Ryan Russell with the hit. They're starting to get a rhythm. That last series, again, over 6 minutes they kept the football, talking about Green Bay, before the ill-conceived pass picked off by Baxter.
You sound like Mike Sherman. Man, we had some rhythm, but we just can't get it finished. And they've had quite a few drives today where they're marching, they get the first downs, but penalty, interception, just something stops them. And so far in this young season, they've done it both games.
Second and 4. Pass over in the area of Leach. 3rd down coming up. Tonight on 60 Minutes, Ricky Williams back in the NFL, of course. And he tells Mike Wallace why. Remember, Mike Wallace visited with him a year ago. More on that tonight on 60 Minutes, the latest. Chapman and Murphy come in as receivers. And Green Bay with 13 minutes to go and down 12. I would assume this would be 4 down territory.
Yeah, I think you're right, Jim. If they don't pick it up here, I think they would go for it on 4th down.
10th play of the drive. Open man, it's Chapman. Chapman trying to cut back, and he is brought down by Mickens. Another Green Bay first.
Well, something they've had success doing today, you wonder why haven't they done more of it, is the receiver crossing the field shallow, coming all the way across. And Ray Mickens is so fair. He comes. Finally, you see him in the camera chasing Chapman, and it's Donald Driver caught the same type of pass and ran for a touchdown earlier.
First down, a mishandled, but Favre able to get back on it. Ethan Kelly just a split second too late.
Yeah, it's just a bad snap when it goes straight down. It's usually the quarterback's fault. Looked like Brett Favre just pulled his hands back a little too quick.
Brett Favre.
2nd and 11.
This by far the youngest team he's ever played on. With all that leadership, trying to direct his team back from 12 down. Take the handoff. Now he's running with it. Favre flings it. And incomplete. Boy, that was close to being past the line of scrimmage. Plus he had open room.
Well, he did, but it looked like as he was going to turn up, I could see what he was trying to do. The defense was reacting to him, and that leaves a wide receiver out there by himself. Robert Ferguson. Brett's just faking like he's going to run it, but it fakes out Robert Ferguson. He goes with him.
Actually, nowhere close to being past the line. He had a couple yards to spare, and boy, they really had fooled the Browns with that ball fake. But 3rd and 11 now. After a botched snap and an incomplete pass, the 13th play of the drive. And a timeout called by the Packers. And they're not happy. The crowd here in Green Bay booing. A big 3rd and 11 coming up for Brett Favre and the Packers. Empty backfield. 5 receivers. With time, Favre to the end zone, and no flag. Donald Driver can't believe it. Now the big decision, and there's not going to be any 4th down attempt here. So the decision, a quick one by Mike Sherman. We're going to kick the field goal, he says.
Donald Driver on the outside gets pushed and goes out of bounds. But he did reestablish himself, and he wanted pass interference, but that contact came within 5 yards.
34-yard try for Ryan Longwell. And the kick is good. And that brings it to a 9-point deficit. 19-10 Cleveland.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by TGI Fridays Restaurants. Everyone could use more Fridays. GMC Trucks and SUVs. We are professional grade. And by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, one taste, and you get it.
And Vince Lombardi and a statue outside. And I don't know, you love that book about Coach Lombardi. Mentioned it a couple times this week, more than a couple.
Well, I'll say this. People don't realize he was an innovator. He changed a lot of ways how you prepare for football games.
Run back by Perkins. And he bounces away from the hit and out to the 40-yard line. We've got an update. Let's send you back to Greg in New York. Greg?
Jim and Phil at the Meadowlands. The Miami Dolphins close the gap. Gus Frerotte to Randy McMichael bounce off of 1-2 Jet defenders to find the end zone. 4 yards and a touchdown. The Jets lead is 10-7. Just under 12 minutes to play in the 4th.
All right, so a good one there, heating up, and McMichael, always one of the toughest out there at tight end.
And you know that, Jim, you said it, the book I mentioned, it's when, shoot, now I almost forgot the name of it, When Pride Still Mattered. It was about Vince Lombardi's life, and Fordham University coming up, going to West Point, then coming up to Green Bay.
First down from the 40. Oh, a mix-up. Dilfer still, though, gets it away for no gain. Well defended. And Steve Hyden and Paris Lennon was right on him. Dilfer bounced into Reuben Drones. I don't know what happened there.
Couldn't tell what happened, but it's a quick pass, a real quick set. Oh, Reuben Drones thinks it's a play-action fake, and that could have been disaster. Most of the time when the quarterback gets hit like that, he's not suspecting it, it turns into a fumble.
Second down and 9. They give him a yard for that. The Hyden having a busy time of it. He's a couple yards shy of the first. Monday on a night of premieres, The King is back. Talking about Kevin James. Leads off an all-new night of comedy with a new season of The King of Queens. Tomorrow at 8, 7 Central here on America's most watched network, CBS. Braylon Edwards is back into the lineup here on 3rd down. 3rd and 2. They flood the left side to the Browns. And through the arms of Antonio Bryant. So Cleveland comes out after the Packers kick the field goal and 3 straight pass plays and failed to pick up a first down.
Oh, I have no problem with the play calls because they're trying to finish the game off. If you would say Trent Dilfer, I think, has a lot of good qualities. Tough, can throw the football down the field, but he doesn't have great touch on the short passes. That was just too hard for Antonio Bryant to handle.
Punt. A great one. And that bounces out. Richardson, that bounces out at the 3-yard line. Now he's moving up to the 4. 49-yard punt. First 3 and out of the day for Cleveland. Up by 9. Back here in Green Bay, Kyle Richardson having a big half, the punter for the Browns. Hitting Green Bay inside the 20 3 times in this half, and this one went out at the 4. Where the Packers begin with Ahman Green. Keeps the legs churning, but only able to manage a 2-yard gain. How about the little things in this game? You say they're making a difference again today.
Well, they are. Brett Favre, open receiver. He misses him. Fumble the snap from the center. You're going to throw the pass. He thinks you're going to run. Receiver does get open. You miss him. 25 plays in the last 2 drives with the Green Bay Packers. 25 and only 3 points. They controlled the ball over 12 minutes on their last 2 drives.
Down and 8. Throwing from the goal line. And that's Henderson. Maybe a yard. That's all. Andre Davis, who had 16 tackles a week ago. And Cleveland trying to clamp down on defense after the Packers the last 2 series have kept it for quite a while.
Yeah, and you know one thing, I've always thought this with Brett Favre, 50,000 yards, what a career he's had as a quarterback. I would love to see him just drop back deeper sometimes and look even more down the field. You know, kind of like the Oakland Raiders with Norv Turner. With his arm and what he can do, you want the defense to be on edge even more than the Packers put them on it.
3rd and 5. Play action, some pressure, but Henderson open, and he was able to get away from the first defender to pick up the first. He escaped Gary Baxter, and Brodney Poole had to make the tackle, but not until they moved the chains.
Well, Gary Baxter knows that Henderson's a lot bigger than him, so he goes low to try to keep him short of the first down and doesn't even touch him. Look at that throw off balance by Brett Favre.
8 minutes remaining, down 9. Oh, great time, all kinds of time. Lobs it middle of the field. And that's Bubba Franks. And he was hit, and it was awkward. And a hushed silence here at Green Bay as Bubba Franks is on the field.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the new Sprint. Sprint, yes you can. And by Rocky Mountain Refreshing Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL and Super Bowl 40.
We're back at Lambeau Field, and Bubba Franks somehow able to walk off the field. I wouldn't have believed it when I first looked at the replay. Kennard Lang coming in on him.
Yeah, the left leg gets caught underneath as all the players just converge on him.
All that weight. And yet he's able to walk off. And after the loss of Javon Walker, everyone a little skittish around here. First down nonetheless as Franks picked up the yardage. And there's a Favre completion to Terrence Murphy. And the rookie has his first career catch. That's the 72nd different receiver that Favre has connected with now in his career. There's another one to the list.
Well, this time Cleveland covers the underneath receiver, and Brett Favre looks for the second guy, and it's Terrence Murphy. He's wide open coming across.
Coaching 7 minutes. And again, this drive started at the 4. Another first down. Favre. It's a short gain. Over to Ferguson. We got an update. Let's go to Greg in New York.
All right, Jim, in Denver, Kyle Johnson, first man through, takes the handoff, 3 yards and a touchdown. Denver has outscored the Chargers 14-0 in the second half. They lead it by 3, coming up on 7 minutes to play in regulation.
All right, thank you, Greg. That is such a big one for those two teams, both coming off a loss a week ago, and a mishandled snap again, but flags first.
False start, number 79, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Next week, we got another doubleheader coming up on CBS. Early, many will see the Raiders take on the Eagles, plus other regional action. And late, New England at Pittsburgh. We had it last year in the regular season. And in the AFC Championship game, we'll see it again. It all starts with Greg and Dan and Shannon and Boomer. 12 noon Eastern time with the NFL Today next week. Bubba Franks, the left knee, he's questionable to return. David Martin has taken his position. Second down and 8.
Hey, let's go.
snagged by Amon Green. And Amon able to pick up 4 yards, 3rd and 4 coming up. Let's go back to Greg.
All right, guys, at the Meadowlands, Jets come right back after the Dolphins score that touchdown. Chad Pennington, the fake into the line, rolls, flips to Gerald Soule, 1 yard touchdown, 17-7. Jets lead as they come up on 8 minutes to play in the 4th.
All right, Greg. So Pennington with a couple of touchdown tosses today. And the crowd getting a little concerned about the clock operation.
The time,
yes. Time management. 3rd down, and that's good for a first. That's Chapman. He takes it into Cleveland territory at the 46. They've now gained 50 yards on this series, and now they jump back up onto their feet with a little more urgency. They want to move it. They're saying, let's get going here, guys.
Well, Brett Favre's even saying, let's get going in this ball. Chapman catches to the sideline, and he does not get out of bounds. So the clock continues to run, and we're near 5 minutes, and you need 2 scores to win.
Go with the run, and that's Fisher for nothing at all. They lost a yard. They have already used the timeout also, so 2 remaining as we move inside of 5 minutes to play. This has been a day, week 2 of the season, where if you look at the 8 early games, the 1 o'clock Eastern time games, the road teams were 1-7. Only Pittsburgh won on the road at Houston decisively. But here, this would be some road performance and win if the Browns can hold on. 2nd down and 11. Favre downfield, and he has another target. It's Chapman again. Inside the 25, that's a 23-yard gain.
Boy, that's a nice throw by Brett Favre. He looks down the middle. That's where the soft spot of this defense is, and makes a perfect throw to Antonio Chapman.
Right side this time. And that's Murphy being met by McCutcheon at the 20. And it'll keep the clock moving.
Well, they're finally going to go to the hurry up.
Favre flings. Murphy almost had it, and then Russell had a chance for the pick. McCutcheon on the hit. Murphy looking for the flag, and the rookie's not going to get the call.
They talked about tighter coverage by the Cleveland defense today. That's been the difference so far. And that's a nice job on the right side by McCutcheon.
Favre had completed 9 in a row before that one. So it's a 3rd down. 3rd and 5 with 3:47 to play. Waiting, now firing. Enzo man's open. It's Ferguson, but there is a flag. Flag down. Ferguson brings it in.
Holding. 98 defense. Penalties applied. It's good, touchdown.
96-yard drive by the Packers.
Brett Favre had so much time to throw the football that on that play, the defense finally it disintegrated. That's how he found the wide open receiver in the end zone. And I thought he almost dropped the ball because he kept pump faking, looking for an open receiver. Almost slipped out of his hands.
Extra point by Longwell, and it's 19-17.
The blocking up front, obvious passing situation. The game is on the line, and look at the time that Brett Favre gets to throw it. My gosh, he almost threw it 4 different times. And then never even brings it back. One-hands it and slings it out there to Robert Ferguson for the touchdown.
Robert Ferguson coming up big, Bill.
Yeah, he's looking for the receivers over the middle. The holding call in the middle. And then Chris Crocker, he goes for one of the pump fakes. That's why Robert Ferguson is wide open.
Again, a drive that started all the way back on the 4, and with some lost yardage on some rushing plays. Favre passed for 100 yards on that drive in the end. 100 yards to his total. And they have, you can see it now, 3 straight drives. The first 2 drives preceding this one ended up with only a field goal. They had those long drives that controlled the football most of this half. 11 plays, 14 plays, 13-play series, the last 3. Now it's going to be imperative for Cleveland to somehow get back in a rhythm and pick up a couple of first downs and try to run this one out.
Hardest thing to do, even as a player, when you get in a situation, you're leading, you're trying to run the clock out. How do you play it? Do you take a chance? Do you call the pass play to try to catch them off guard? And then as a quarterback, you go, well, they got to be wide open before I throw it. So it's really tough, really tough. And you're playing against a defense that's going to be desperate.
William Green. Green going back middle. Now outside and a flag. This is going to be called back. William Green had it all the way out to the 50, but it's coming back. And all I can think about right now is the special team's going to get flagged here is that blocked extra point.
During the return, holding, 21, receiving team, 10-yard penalty, first down.
First penalty of the half on Cleveland. .21 straight ahead. There he is.
Yeah,
there's
Rodney Poole gets the hold. And you know what happens? There must be a left return on. So they're expecting the returner to go left. And once he reverses field and goes right, they go, well, why is my man getting away from me? And that's when you reach out, grab him and hold.
Favre stirred him up here. And they respond. 3-1 time of possession this half. Try to cross him up with the pass and the drop ball. Billy Miller. Not only would have picked up a few yards, would have run the clock down some.
Poised under pressure. How do you react to it? Billy Miller trying to run with it before the football is thrown to him. This is how you catch the defense off guard. They fool him.
And Trent Dilfer, who has never won here, 0-10 in his career, 0-7 as a starter. And he talked to us about how his teams always came in here and had chances, but wilted in the end. When this place got loud, our teams just kind of melted. And a timeout called by Cleveland. Think about that Billy Miller pass right there. Well, first, for those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS and the game between the Cleveland Browns and the Green Bay Packers. Mike Wallace with Ricky Williams coming up after the game, except on the West Coast. Jim Nantz, Bill Sims, and Bonnie Bernstein here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, with Cleveland beating the Packers at the moment, 19-17. And again, 60 minutes coming up immediately following this game, except on the West Coast. But the Miller, had he caught it, you were talking about another 30, 40 seconds, would have brought it inside of 3 minutes.
40 seconds probably, we're being kind. 40 seconds and 40 seconds, 40 seconds off the clock, but it would be second down and about 5 instead of second and 10.
Up top again. Dilfer's pass. Great grab. Antonio Bryant by the shoestrings. And although it's short yardage, again, that will work off some of the time.
Good job by Trent Dilfer stepping up in the pocket. Probably could have pulled it down and ran with it.
Because of the completion, Packers preserve the time by using the timeout. They have 1 remaining.
Pressure when you're trying to make plays. Defenders get out of their lanes. Look at the pocket. Step up. Nope. If he would have ran with it, he would have got caught. Watch Antonio Bryant coming across. How's that? Right off the shoe tops. Picks up a couple yards, but makes the clock keep moving.
A chant here, and it's Reggie they're chanting. here on the day where Reggie White, jersey retired, an emotional halftime ceremony. Third down, 3rd and 5. Here they come. Dilfer gets it away. Open man is Drones. He stays in bounds. Can you believe that?
They came with the blitz. Cleveland guessed right. Maurice Carthon lets Reuben Drones, instead of having him block the blitzer, he lets him come by. Reuben Drones coming out of the backfield. They did all, and the Green Bay Packers all get tangled up in the backfield. That's why Reuben Drones is wide open.
So again, 1 timeout, Phil, for the Packers. That's it. Plus the 2-minute warning.
Well, they're going to run it right now.
And it's Drones.
Boy, once again, the play before, Trent Dilfer throwing off balance, falling away from it. It's about 5 times today he has thrown the football on the move, and he's been on target all 5 times.
Not a lot of running room for Drones on the day. 20 carries for 50 yards after a solid performance last week for Drones. And this is going to run it down to the 2-minute warning with 2nd down coming out of it. 2nd and 9. Green Bay coming out of this 2-minute warning now. Again, the Packers with 1 timeout. That's it. Cleveland comes out throwing. Hayden gets away. Hayden inside the 40. That's a foot race. Hayden looks over both shoulders, and that will put it away. He broke away from Mark Roman, and the Browns go 62 yards.
I guess, we'll go back to the beginning. Mike Sherman says this Cleveland offense, they're hard to get a handle on. And in situations, Jim, I thought for sure they would run the football, make Green Bay use their last time out, but they did not. They caught him off guard. They caught him in the blitz. Steve Hayden saw it. He turned around, looked for the football. Trent Green read it right. Something he didn't do last week cost him a big play. He hits it for the touchdown, and it's the deciding touchdown.
Well, Dawson, they had the last point after blocked. This would make it a 2-score game. They got to get this one through, and they do. Hayden's career long. He was 30 before that one. This one goes for 62 and his 2nd touchdown of the game.
But how does he get open like that? It was a blitz. It was a blitz by the Packers defense. Watch them all coming. Here's Hayden. The Packers make a mistake. Nobody is covering him. Trent Dilfer, here they come strong. He knows he can't pick it up. Oh, the safety way back. He's just so far away that he can't even make the tackle in the open field. And good job by Steve Hayden.
Corey Williams tried his best to chase him down, number 99. Well, Hayden trying to get an idea. Looks one way, checks out the other, and he's gone. And Romeo Crennel, 1:50 away, barring any miracles here from his first NFL win as a head coach.
I'm not sure if Mark Roman made the mistake or he was trying to cover it up, but Trent Dilfer, hey, finally is going to get a win. He hopes here in Green Bay. And well, what a tremendous victory for him, and a first victory for Romeo Crennel.
Trent Dilfer told us last night, I didn't think I'd ever start again. As a football player, not being a starter, he said I felt
I was dying. I was dying in Seattle. Yeah,
I wasn't failing. I wasn't getting booed. I wasn't getting hit. You feel alive as a player. He wanted one last chance. Davenport out to the 21. And Mike Holmgren, a man of his word. It was really important for him to say that he had gone to Holmgren. Had told him several years ago. Holmgren would say, "Here I had a chance to start again around in this league. I'd give you that chance."
If it comes up, I'll give you a chance. And I'm sure Mike Holmgren wanted to back out of that promise, but he was a man of his word. He gets him here to Cleveland. Let me tell you too, I've think Trent Dilfer is a really good, solid quarterback for a football team. He can do all the things you want throwing the football.
Packers pick up 11.
And we heard Romeo Crennel talk about him last night. He is a leader. He's a hard worker. He's a tremendous example for his teammates. And that's what you want your quarterback to be.
There's a flag on the end of that pass play to Ferguson.
Delay of game, number 25. The defense would not release the receiver. 5-yard penalty, first down.
The Packers and the Vikings never before have both been 0-2 to start a season. Vikings are already 0-2 after 2 dreadful performances. Awful today. Culpepper, just a mystery why he's off the mark so much. And then Solomon Green out to the 47. Romeo Crennel and his Cleveland defense. 1:20 to go. Again, the Packers with the one timeout. Back over to Murphy. You know, you don't want to get too casual out here for Cleveland.
No, I'm just saying. I'm not saying. Listen, it's never over. I've seen incredible finishes, so somebody's got to step forward.
Chapman stepping up with a beautiful diving grab. And Favre runs to the line. Let's go, he says. Let's go, boys.
Take a shot in the end zone, and it almost makes it. Brett Favre wants to get him up so they don't have to use their timeout. He might have to, and they do. There's a lot of ways to look at this. Take a shot in the end zone, you don't hit it. Kick the field goal so you have time to onside kick and get a couple plays to try to get in the end zone again.
What would you do?
Well, I'd take shots in the end zone here. And this is where it pays to have a quarterback with a great arm, because you have to take a chance. You got to throw it into a spot that you really might not want to, but Brett Favre can fit them in there sometimes.
Chapman with the diving catch, landed on the football, probably got the wind knocked out of him, and unable to jump to his feet, and they lost 8 or 9 seconds. They're just trying to decide, was he going to get up, which would take the timeout, which they eventually had to do. Can't help but think, though, about this guy with 3 touchdown passes today, and how he loves the system here, the offensive system. Everything about it makes sense. Feels like he's reinvented his body after the ruptured Achilles from 2002 that's just now healed. And you know, you look back on Dilfer, his last 35 starts, and that's scattered over some time back to the Ravens days. He's 26-9.
Don't the Baltimore Ravens wish they had Trent Dilfer? Yeah, I made a lot of people in Baltimore mad this year. I said, you know, if Kyle Bowler really progresses, he could be as good as Trent Dilfer. And they, it's amazing. They create their own trouble, because it's always the quarterback's fault in Baltimore, regardless of what happens. But he did a tremendous job when he went down there that year, led them to the Super Bowl. And I know a lot of players, and Jim, you know a few of them. Even Shannon Sharp will say it. They should have kept him there. But they didn't. He went out to Seattle and actually, in his second year, beats out Matt Hasselbeck for the starting job. Then he ruptures his Achilles tendon and loses it back, because Matt Hasselbeck then comes in and plays very well.
By the way, they're reviewing that last catch.
Yeah, that's a good call by the Cleveland coaching staff. I didn't even think of it. Oh, it's inside of 2 minutes, so it is the officials. Sorry. Got beat up here as soon as I said that. Man, everybody started hitting me.
It's a contact sport, isn't it?
It looks like he does get his arms underneath and has control of it. And that football is allowed to hit the ground as long as you have control of it. And it looks like Antonio Chapman did have control of it.
You know, one thing about, you were talking about Dilfer going out to Seattle, and then was it going to be Hasselbeck? Was it going to be Dilfer? All I know is, in the end, there was a special bond formed between those two. They're the best of friends. Their wives are best friends. Children play together. And when they each lost last week, the first person they Colt talk to one another.
Yeah, they tried to console each other a little bit. It was nice to hear Trent Dilfer talk about it. And, you know, Jim, too, if you ask a lot of quarterbacks around the league what they think of Trent Dilfer, and they'll all, you know, I'll tell you, their reviews come back pretty good. You know, hey, this guy's got some talent, and it's just overlooked. And the perception of Trent Dilfer around the league or the media.
After reviewing the play, the receiver was able to get both hands under the ball. It is a catch. First down.
The perception is just, you know, it's wrong. They just, Trent Dilfer went to Cleveland, big deal, bad move. Well, I think time is going to show us all that it was a pretty good move by the Cleveland Browns trying to reestablish an identity.
336 yards, the second most of his career. Not over yet because Donald Driver has it down to the 4-yard line.
No, it is not over. And, you know, in the defense you're playing, the weak spot is in the middle, but the defenders keep letting the receivers run right down the middle.
No spike. Favre looking, flinging, and jump ball falls incomplete.
That may be the 50 shot of a lifetime.
He's tangled. Chapman down again. He did not even sit out a play after being shaken up, and you know, he's not fully recovered, but he was in with an attempt at that one, as well as Murphy in the area.
How about that last play? Is that just nothing there? Just what a play. Just
take a chance.
Take a chance. Chug it up there.
And it's still an anxious time. Trent keeps looking up at that clock. Timeout called by the Browns. It's probably pretty smart right now. They got to settle things down in 19 seconds, and you score here on this play if you're Green Bay and kick an onside kick. Who knows? Ryan Longwell last year kicked 4 game winners.
Well, you would have to, you really almost have to score this play, Jim. Think about it.
That's right.
You got to score, then, so that's going to take, let's say 5 seconds. Then you onside kick is going to take at least 1 or 2, 3 seconds. Then you're not going to be in field goal range. You still need time to throw one more pass to try to kick a field goal. In the worst case scenario, they like to see score, and if they have to throw a bomb the last play of the game into the end zone, that would be the worst case scenario for the Green Bay Packers.
How about Romeo Crennel? 37th year of coaching, 25th year in the NFL. 2 years ago interviewed by 5 NFL teams, the Bears, Giants, Arizona, Atlanta, and Buffalo. Finally getting his chance, and could be 19 seconds away from getting his first win. Favre, end zone, flag down, touchdown. That's Murphy, the rookie from Texas A&M, their second-round pick, and this is going against Green Bay.
Pass interference, number 85, offense, 10-yard penalty, still second down.
Yeah, that was a big penalty just because of time. On the outside, number 85, Terrence Murphy, just pushes right off. And you know, he didn't need to do that against Dalen McCutcheon. He probably was going to be open anyway. McCutcheon was playing strictly inside. If he wouldn't have pushed when he broke back outside, he would have been open.
7, defense and offensive pass interference, number 85. The penalties will offset. Second down.
Just 14 seconds to go here at Lambeau Field with the Cleveland Browns about to present Romeo Crennel with his first win. Again, barring any unforeseen happenings here. Favre from the 4-yard line. Hands it around, and that one flutters away with 10 seconds. Favre with 338 yards passing today, a couple of touchdowns. As the Packers scored right away today on a hookup with Donald Driver, but right back came Dilfer, and the Browns matching the touchdown. Led 13-7 at halftime, and then 2 big touchdown completions in this half. The long one to Braylon Edwards, the rookie, and went 80 yards, and then 62 yards to Hayden. That's Fisher. And he darts, he's in, but only 4 seconds.
Well, that's what we talked about, Jim. They held him out long enough for this touchdown. Now they still have to onside kick. But if they recover, maybe there could be 1 second left to throw one into the end zone. But Brett Favre, I tell you, he can throw it from anywhere. That time flips it sidearm out to Tony Fisher for the touchdown.
This is a Green Bay program that last year started the season 1-4, came back to win the division. In Coach Sherman's first year, they stopped things for a minute here. They may be reviewing. Fisher was down short of the goal line. Did they have a knee down maybe at the 1? That's what it's got to be. Just in time before that ball was snapped on the PAT that would have made it official. Watch the knee. Yeah, looks like.
I think he made it.
I think he's across.
I think he made it. Almost looks like that play Michael Vick made against the Carolina Panthers last year. Dove and nothing touched the ground until that tip of that football was on the end zone line.
Michael Vick and his Atlanta Falcons, after that emotional Monday night game, go west today and lose to Seattle.
The runner scored.
So that didn't take long to settle matters. I thought he gave it to him. I guess they're still looking at it.
Let's look at it one more time. Coming from the side as he hits the ground, it looks like the football has definitely broken the plane of the end zone. You know, Jim, last year Green Bay did start 1-4, and it'll be interesting to see this division, how it goes. Chicago, Green Bay, Detroit. I don't know if any of Minnesota, none of them are probably capable of just running away with it. So even though you start out 0-2, you still have a chance to win the division title because, I don't know, 8-8 might get it done.
It could be. I mean, the way Chicago chopped up Detroit today, Detroit and Chicago now 1-1. You got the Vikings and the Packers on their way to 0-2.
After reviewing the play, the runner crossed the goal line. It is a touchdown.
I mean, it gets a little desperate, though, at 0-2. Again, no team last year made the playoffs after an 0-2 start.
I think you were talking about Romeo Crennel and this game, Jim. 5 interviews after the 2003 season, and he thought, well, if I don't get one next year, I probably never will. But he did get the interview with Cleveland and got it done.
A win here today, he said, his immediate thoughts would be a dedication to his fellow coaches and players. And then on the flight home tonight, he says he'll pause and he'll give thanks to his parents and to the coaches like Jimmy Fikes, coach at Western Kentucky, to Bill Parcells and to Bill Belichick. Just got the onside kick to go again tonight, 60 minutes, and the Primetime Emmy Awards live right here on CBS tonight. Ellen will host that here on America's Most Watched Network.
It's Jimmy Fikes, Western Kentucky. I played against that coach many times down there when I played for Morehead State, Jim, and when he was at Western Kentucky, Romeo Crennel, coached by Jerry Glanville.
How about that? And Joe Bugle.
Joe Bugle was on that staff too, yes. And they were a really good football team when that whole group was down there.
Jerry Glanville, our old colleague, now the defensive coordinator at the University of Hawaii. So pleased for him to be back in the game. And
yeah, it is.
He loves defense, coaching defense, and bringing back the old Grits Blitz.
Now Romeo's going, man, can we ever get this? Is a lot harder than I thought trying to get this win.
Well, any strategy here at all? You got anything in your playbook for this one?
Well, listen, like I said, if they recover it, there's still possible there could be 1 second left, and Brett Favre could absolutely reach the end zone with a last-second throw.
They need a recovery and some major help from clock operations. And a timeout called by Cleveland. Pretty shrewd here. They check the formation. We're going to just make sure. We're going to take every provision possible here.
You know what? You're supposed to. That's what you do.
That's
you
great.
Cover every base. You keep going over these situations, and And it is amazing. You go through training camp, all these little things you work on and how they come true in football games. And they determine who wins and loses.
You know, when you had your talk, we were sitting in with you and Romeo yesterday talking about being a head coach. And you hear this every time a guy gets that head coaching job for the first time. How much they realize, because here they are trying to manage the end of the game clock. But managing the clock during the week, it is such a different animal for them, trying to figure out people's schedules. Do we take a bus, or how do we get here to there? You don't coach.
You're an organizational guy. Yeah. That's what you are. Yeah, he says, hey, at the end of the day, I feel like I've cheated, cheated everybody here. I didn't coach any football. So what he does, he makes up for it. He coaches the coaches, tells them exactly what he wants on the football field each day during practice.
All right, Longwell comes at it from the side. And the ball bounces around, and the Browns recover. Poole falls on it.
Still 3 seconds, so you were saying these onside kicks, they don't eat up much time.
That one didn't take long. The one snap, and it's in the books. Cleveland will be off to Indianapolis next week. The Colts, with a mighty struggle today, shut out through the first 3 quarters before Rand Carthon scored the only touchdown of the day for Indianapolis in their win over Jacksonville. And those effects of that touchdown that is felt here on the Cleveland staff.
Yeah, how about that? Maurice Carthon, the offensive coordinator, that's his son. So they'll have a nice phone call to each other tonight. Talk about how the day went for them, and it went well for both.
The Browns give Romeo Crennel his first win as a head coach. Brett Favre congratulates Trent Dilfer. First time Dilfer's ever topped Favre here at Lambeau. Quite a game here. 26-24, the Browns win it. For Phil Simms, Bonnie Bernstein, Jim Nance, Brett Gumbel and company coming up from New York in a moment.